Evan Cole never imagined his life could end in a moment of silence. He was an ordinary young man, working a dull job, reading occasionally, thinking about things that changed nothing. Until one night, as he walked back to his apartment, he felt a strange dizziness, as if the world had gone dark for a second. And when he opened his eyes, he was no longer on the street he knew but standing in a massive stone plaza, surrounded by towering black buildings with no windows, under a gray, oppressive sky without sun or stars. And before he could process what was happening, a glowing number appeared above him, 62, and when he tried to touch it, a cold tingle shot through his mind as if someone was measuring his thoughts. A tall man with a stern face and empty eyes approached, saying in a cold, mechanical voice, "Welcome to Arcadia, the city that acknowledges neither money nor ignorance. Here, your intellect is your life." Evan looked around and saw numbers floating above everyone's heads. 140, 390, 870, some walked confidently, others stared at the ground in fear, and he asked in a trembling voice, "What does this number mean?" The man answered, "Every decision you make, every word you speak, every mistake you commit deducts from your points, and when you reach zero, you cease to exist." Evan didn't believe it until he saw it with his own eyes. A pale young woman pleaded with a guard to let her pass without paying. Her number hovered above her head, 3, and when she hesitated on a simple question, the number dropped to 0, her body froze and then vanished like smoke. No screams, no blood, only emptiness. And at that moment, Evan realized the horrifying truth. This world does not kill the body. It erases the very thought of existence. He was forced to work in the calculation sector, where low-numbered citizens solved daily puzzles for small points, barely enough to survive. And there he met Lena Hart, a calm, intelligent girl with a relatively high number, 210, who warned him on the first day, "Trust no one. Here, people smile at you while planning to steal your points." He didn't understand her words until he discovered that Arcadia allowed point transfers through mental challenges. And the loser didn't just lose points, they lost respect, and possibly their life. Over the days, Evan changed. He began to think quickly, analyze every word before speaking, calculate consequences as if his life depended on it. Because it did. And each time he gained points, something inside him was drained. Compassion became a burden, empathy a costly mistake. One day he saw an old man collapse in the street. He hesitated to help because helping required a decision. And decisions cost points. He walked past, leaving him behind, and with every step he asked himself, "Am I still human?" One night, Lena revealed a dangerous secret. Arcadia isn't a city, it's an experiment. We are here to be filtered. The smartest rise, the rest are erased. And she told him about a higher class called the architects, people with numbers above 1,000 who control the rules and adjust them for themselves. They never err, for they are not part of the game. They created it. When Evan tried to escape, he discovered the cruelest truth. No doors lead out, every path loops back to the central plaza. The only choice was to rise or vanish, and he was offered a final challenge. A mental duel against one of the architects, Marcus Vale, a cold, calculating man with a number of 1320. Winning meant freedom, losing meant 0, and before the challenge, Lena looked at him and said, "If you win, you will leave, but you will not be the same person." The duel began. Ruthless questions, paradoxical riddles, impossible ethical decisions, and on the last question, Evan had to choose. Save Lena and lose all his points, or let her vanish to ascend. And for the first time since entering Arcadia, he chose with his heart, not his mind. He chose her. Numbers vanished. Silence fell. When Evan opened his eyes, he was back on the street he had disappeared from. The people around him walking as if nothing had happened. He looked at his hands. No numbers, no voices, only a strange emptiness inside. He did not know whether he had won or lost, but he was certain of one thing. Somewhere, there was a city that could not be seen, could not be touched, yet it watched, waiting for anyone foolish enough to think their intellect was enough to survive. After returning to the street, Evan thought he had escaped Arcadia, but the emptiness inside him gnawed at his mind, a reminder that the city's influence never truly ends. That night he could not sleep, Numbers haunted his dreams, glowing above invisible heads, whispering logic puzzles, moral dilemmas, and impossible choices. He awoke to a letter slipped under his door, written in sharp, elegant handwriting. "You cannot leave what you have entered. Your mind belongs to us now. Return or lose everything." At first he panicked, thinking it a joke, but instinct pulled him toward the shadows of the city, toward the massive black towers of Arcadia that seemed to appear at the edge of the real world. When he stepped through the veil, he found the plaza transformed. The central square now filled with twisting paths and floating platforms, glowing with neon numbers. Citizens with higher numbers walked with confidence, while the low-numbered ones crawled, whispering and calculating every breath. Lena appeared at his side, her eyes wider than ever, and whispered, "Tonight, you will face your first real test. The architects are not merciful and the rules have changed." She led him to a chamber where Marcus Vale awaited, flanked by two others whose numbers glowed like suns, 1287 and 1345. "Welcome back," Marcus said, his voice calm and terrifying. "Tonight, you will learn what it truly means to survive in Arcadia." The challenge was brutal, mental mazes that shifted with thought, questions designed to break logic, ethical choices with consequences no mind should bear. Evan answered each with precision, his brain burning, points climbing, but each success felt hollow, as if part of him was being carved away. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time had no meaning here, and finally Marcus presented the ultimate dilemma. A holographic projection of Lena trapped in a room where her number was rapidly dropping, and beside her, a button that would transfer all of Evan's points to save her, leaving him at 0. If he did nothing, she would vanish, but he would ascend toward the higher class and gain numbers that could one day let him leave Arcadia permanently. Evan's heart raced, his mind screamed, but he remembered her warning. "The city will change you." He hesitated, feeling the emptiness inside him swell. Then, with a deep breath, he pressed the button, transferring all his points to Lena, watching her number rise as he plummeted to 0. The world shifted violently, numbers exploding around him like stars collapsing. And he fell into darkness. When he opened his eyes, he was back on the central plaza, the shadows whispering, the glow of numbers faint above citizens who walked by, oblivious. Lena was beside him, alive, her number restored, but she looked at him with a mixture of gratitude and sorrow, knowing that he had sacrificed his only protection in this city. And for the first time, Evan understood Arcadia's cruel truth. Survival here was not about intellect alone, but about choices, courage, and the terrifying price of humanity. Somewhere in the distance, above the black towers, he felt the gaze of the architects, unseen yet undeniable, and he knew that tonight was only the beginning. The city was patient, and Arcadia never forgot those who dared to care. Days passed, or perhaps only moments, for time in Arcadia was no longer measurable. Evan wandered the neon-lit paths of the city with Lena at his side, the weight of 0 points pressing on his mind like a cold stone. He could no longer gain points, could no longer rely on intellect alone. Every decision, every thought, every blink became a gamble against erasure. City seemed alive, shifting around them, testing their awareness, watching their morality. Then a hidden door appeared in the side of a black tower, shimmering with faint golden numbers, the entrance to the architect's domain. Lena grasped his arm and whispered, "This is it. Beyond this point, no mistakes are forgiven." Inside, the chamber stretched impossibly, floors stacked above floors, each level glowing with ascending numbers and holographic projections of citizens long gone, their points displayed like trophies. At the top, Marcus Vale awaited once more, flanked by the elder architects, their eyes cold, their numbers astronomical, shining like suns. 1,340, 1,500, 1,622. "Welcome," Marcus said calmly. "You have survived your first lesson, but Arcadia does not forgive compassion. You chose to sacrifice yourself. Let us see if your humanity is weakness or strength." The trials were relentless. Paradoxes with no solution, ethical riddles that tore at the mind, illusions crafted to make the brave hesitate, and mental mazes that twisted every memory Evan had. Yet each challenge sharpened something within him. He was no longer the ordinary man who first stepped into the plaza. He understood instinctively how to navigate the city's cruel logic, how to predict the unseen algorithms, how to endure without losing himself entirely. At the climax, Marcus presented the final scenario, a simulated world where Lena and a group of low-numbered citizens were trapped under imminent erasure, and Evan had only one choice: restore their points and ensure their survival, remaining at zero indefinitely, or ascend to the upper layers of Arcadia, gaining numbers beyond imagination, leaving them to disappear forever. The weight of the decision crushed him, yet he remembered every face he had seen vanish, every scream erased from existence. With trembling hands, he pressed the sequence that restored everyone's points, feeling the city tremble around him as his own number remained null. Silence fell, heavy and absolute, broken only by Lena's soft gasp and the faint whispers of the architects. Then unexpectedly, Marcus smiled, a cold, approving curl of the lips. Few understand that Arcadia is not merely survival. It is choice, sacrifice, and the courage to retain one's humanity when the world would erase it. You have passed beyond mere intellect. The walls of the tower shimmered, and a new path unfolded before Evan and Lena, one leading to the outskirts of the city that seemed real, tangible, beyond the grasp of the architects. As they stepped onto the threshold, Evan felt the pull of Arcadia fade slightly, but he knew that the city would always watch, always calculate, always wait for those who dared to care, to hope, to sacrifice. And as the gray sky parted faintly above the black towers, Evan realized that true survival was not measured in numbers or intellect, but in the choices that define a person when nothing else remains. And Arcadia, patient and eternal, would never forget those who walked its trials with courage. The final chapter of Evan's journey began as he and Lena stepped beyond the threshold of the upper layers. The cold glow of Arcadia's towers fading behind them, but never truly disappearing from his mind. The architects appeared before them, their numbers blazing like impossible stars, their presence both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Marcus Vale, the architect who had guided and tested Evan from the beginning, spoke. "You have survived every trial, sacrificed everything, and yet retained what the city thought impossible: humanity." Evan realized then that Arcadia was never a city of intellect alone. It was a crucible designed to strip away empathy, compassion, and choice, until only cold calculation remained, and only those who could retain their heart while navigating impossible logic were truly free. The final test was not a puzzle or riddle, but a confrontation of will, to walk away and leave Arcadia forever, knowing that the city would continue to consume countless others, or to ascend fully and take control, to alter its rules, to become a protector rather than a prisoner. Evan looked at Lena, who had always stood beside him, and he understood that freedom without responsibility was meaningless. With a deep breath, he stepped forward not to escape, but to rewrite the city from within, facing the architects and challenging their immutable algorithms with empathy, strategy, and courage. The towers shimmered, the floating platforms realigned, and a new order emerged. Citizens could now gain points through cooperation and kindness, not only cunning, and the city itself seemed to pulse with a softer light, as though learning to respect the choices of those who dared to care. Evan and Lena emerged into a plaza that felt both familiar and transformed. The oppressive gray sky still loomed, but now it carried the hint of dawn. The numbers above heads persisted, but no longer dictated life or death. They were guides, not masters. And as they walked side by side, Evan understood the ultimate truth Arcadia had tried to teach him all along. True power is not in intellect alone, nor in survival at any cost, but in the ability to choose, to act with courage, and to retain one's humanity even in a world designed to erase it. Arcadia would endure, patient and eternal, but now, for the first time, it would also remember those who dared to bring compassion into a city built to destroy it. And Evan realized that some cities, no matter how dark, can be changed by the choices of a few brave hearts.